So what exactly is poetry? Well, there are many definitions of poetry, many different interpretations. For the very famous British Romantic poet William Wordsworth, poetry was the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. And we still have that today, for example, in rap music, with this idea that it's not just that you're able to create art, that you can create these rhymes, but that you can do it very rapidly and spontaneously. Just it's very natural, and that's where you have kind of the face-off, the rap battles, for example. For Emily Dickinson, her definition of poetry is very interesting and very unique because Emily Dickinson was such a just a classic poet, and her thoughts, her writing, it's just so unique. Her quote was, "If I read a book and it makes my body so cold, no fire ever can warm me. I know that is poetry." And thank you, Emily Dickinson. That's a very poetic definition of poetry, in fact. And you're exposed to poetic techniques every day. Advertisers use them, it's in music, jingles. All of these things are mnemonic devices. They help you to remember the message that the advertiser or the artist is trying to convey. That's why you can remember the chorus of songs, for example. And there are many different devices used in poetry. Of course, you're familiar with the World Wide Web, and that itself is alliterative with the www. You shop at stores such as Bed, Bath & Beyond or Best Buy with that alliteration of the B, for example. Okay, so let's go through some of the specific poetry techniques. The first is alliteration. And with alliteration you have the initial consonant sound. And this is used by the names of stores, restaurants, movies, all of the time. Sin City as a moniker for Las Vegas, you hear that initial S sound, Sin City. Keep in mind, it's not the spelling because you have an S and a C there, but it's the sound that is important. And you have this in marketing. For example, guts, glory, ram. That guts and glory is the alliteration that helps you remember that particular marketing slogan and kind of stays with you. Or in popular music, I'm bringing booty back, as Meghan Trainor tells us very poetically. Bringing booty is that initial B sound. Assonance is the repetition of the vowel sound within words. And an example of this would be Lorde in her popular song. But every song's like gold teeth, Grey Goose, tripping in the bathroom. Notice in this you hear the E sound, the strong E sound. Every, gold teeth, E, for example. So right there, those two, the vowel sounds is the assonance that you're hearing. And there's other devices in that line also. Grey Goose, one of my personal favorite vodkas by the way, is that alliteration, G, Grey Goose. Consonance is a little harder to find in lines of poetry. It's a little more subtle, but with consonants you have the repetition of consonants, of course, not the initial ones, but within the words. So, for example, as Nick Jonas tells us, it's my right to be hellish, I still get jealous. Profound words indeed. So let's look at that. Hellish, you have the LL sound there. Still, LL sound again, that consonants. And jealous, you hear the L sound with jealous. So you kind of have to look a little bit harder for the consonants, but a lot of poets use it very effectively. And again, when you have this in some lines back to back, you unconsciously notice that structural pattern in the poetry or in the music. Now, we're all familiar with rhyme in music. Dr. Seuss, nursery rhymes use rhyme. Rhyme is all over the place, really. But let's kind of review some of the basics of rhyme. Rhyme is the repetition of the ending vowel and consonant sounds. So for example, you have back, rack, cat, hat. With Eminem and Rihanna, I'm friends with the monster that's under my bed. Get along with the voices inside of my head. Bed, head is a masculine rhyme, and it's you hear that the vowel and the consonant is identical. Now, to kind of clarify, there are two types of rhyme. You have masculine rhyme and feminine rhyme. And yes, that's sexist, but those are terms that we have. Masculine rhyme is, again, the hard nursery rhyme kind of sound. It's a hard one-syllable rhyme. The final syllable is stressed. A common one in music, really overdone, is fire, desire. That desire, fire. The second syllable of desire is stressed, and it goes with the fire. So that would be a masculine rhyme. Usually masculine rhyme is one syllable, though. Cat, bat, it's a masculine rhyme. Feminine rhyme is more difficult. You do have that a lot in rap music, and that is usually two or more syllables, and the stress is not on the final syllable, so it's a softer rhyme than the masculine rhyme. The stress is on the first syllable. So pleasure, treasure is a feminine rhyme. And the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles uses this type of rhyme very successfully. If you're driving down I-45 or I-10, for example, you will see those signs that say things such as drive sober or get pulled over. Sober, over. That is a feminine rhyme. So thank you to Texas Department of Motor Vehicles. Again, marketing, public service announcements, literature, they all are doing the same thing. These rhymes are what helps you remember these ideas, these messages. And you have internal and external rhyme. And internal rhyme is just words that rhyme within a single line of poetry or music. External is at the end of the line of music or poetry. So we'll take an example of internal rhyme. Nicki Minaj, one of my personal favorites, as she tells us, if he hangin', we bangin'. Phone rangin', he slangin'. So notice there you have the hangin', bangin', rangin', slangin'. You have the rhyme, and it's all internal. And that kind of quick internal rhyme, again, is a characteristic of rap music and that particular type of flow. Let's take we'll do a few brief examples of poetry and kind of look at some of the devices that you see. And I love to use rap music because for some critics rap is the new oral poetry, in fact. So here is an old school classic. Out on bail, fresh out of jail, California dreamin', soon as I stepped on the scene, I'm hearing hoochie screaming, Thank you. So, what techniques do you hear in that? There are several. For example, hearing hoochies, the HH repetition. Soon as I stepped on the scene, you're hearing that alliteration with the initial S consonant sound. You have internal masculine rhyme. Masculine rhyme is that hard one-syllable rhyme with the stress on the last syllable. If you do have two, usually it's one syllable though. So bail, jail, and that's internal rhyme is inside that particular line. Dreamin' and screamin', you have in rhyme. They occur at the end of the lines, and they are feminine rhyme. So the first initial syllable is stressed. Dreamin', screamin'. Okay, and that's used a lot in rap. It's used by Poe and other poets also. And it's a little more subtle kind of rhyme. It's not that nursery school, that hard, strong rhyme. And it creates a little bit of a different tonal effect, basically. And another thing that rap does especially well is assonance. Assonance is this vowel sound that you hear within words, and it really does create a rhythm and flow to the music. So for example, going old school again, party people in the place, embrace the bass as I commence to pick up the pace, and make you motivate and accelerate, 'cause like Tony the Tiger, I'm great. Again, thank you. No applause needed. So here, what you're hearing that really creates this kind of flow, the flow to this rap, is the strong A sound in several words. So place, the A, embrace, the bass, pace, make, motivate, accelerate, great at the end there, that kind of climactic finish of that particular stanza. So that really helps to, again, accentuate that kind of flow that you associate with rap. And when you combine all of these together, it's very powerful, and that's where you have that, again, the spontaneous overflow, as Wordsworth would say, a powerful feeling. Now, there's different types of figurative meaning that artists and poets use. One is personification. And if you just drive in Texas, you know that people identify, for example, a lot with their vehicles, their trucks, their sports cars, etc. And it's kind of the same idea. You see this in kids' movies like Cars, cartoons like Transformers. And basically, in personification, you're giving characteristics of a person to something that is non-human. That could be an abstract idea, or it could be an animal. So for example, the city never sleeps. New York never sleeps. Well, New York is a city, it's not a person, it can't sleep, right? So that's the idea. So you have a lot of idioms that use that. That last slice of pizza is calling my name. I can identify with that one. I do love the good slice of New York style pizza, speaking of New York. So the pizza is calling you, right? The camera loves me. The angry wind howled. Time waits for no one. So we have this again with animals, abstract ideas, these human-like characteristics. You'll see this pretty frequently in poetry. Onomatopoeia wouldn't want to be ya. That is the words that sound like what they're describing. Emily Dickinson, I heard a fly buzz when I died. That buzz has the sound of what you're describing. You have this in comic books, the bam, wham, slam. Wolverine, his claws when they pop out in the comic books has that schnicked sound. Oink, ooze, slam, thump, tick, tock, says Kesha. Purr, bang, bang, snap, crackle, pop. Again, marketing for kid cereals. Very, very frequent in music and literature, poetry especially, are similes. A simile is a comparison of two things, and importantly it uses like or as. So for example, her eyes were green as grass. Her smile is like the sun. Marketing, Chevy, like a rock. She's as cold as ice. As Andre 3000 tells us, shake it, shake it, shake it like a Polaroid picture.